Morning folks, hope you're all having a lovely weekend. So I've been reading the papers this morning, and as I tend to do on Sundays, I try to piece together information from different sources, aggregate it all together and try to get a kind of a net understanding of where we're at right now and where we're going, specifically in regards to what's happening economically and politically, and how's that going to impact on the property investment landscape here in the UK. And obviously there's been so much going on recently, so what I'd love to do is share with you my kind of current view of things, but predominantly invite you guys to tell me what you think, because I don't have all the answers. I think it's just a case of working the mastermind group a little bit and getting smart kind of ideas together and trying to find an outcome from all of it as to where things are going, basically. So let's start with the economics and the political side of things. COVID continues to impact everything in a massive way, and we're seeing across Europe, as the lockdowns have eased, that the number of cases and infection rates are starting to spike up again, which obviously I think was to be expected without having had a solid vaccine or genuine change of circumstances to mean it would just have gone away. And we always knew a second wave was possible, but we're sort of seeing the handbrake being applied, particularly in the UK, and I would imagine to Boris's frustration, because he's trying to get the economy moving again, but the more cases are spiking up, the more he has to restrict the aggressive nature of his plan to reopen the economy and get things moving again. So with that in mind, the furlough schemes here in the UK are due to end on the 31st of October. And the government presumably can't keep propping everyone up forever, right? So those schemes have to be withdrawn, even if by the end of October we haven't been able to emerge from lockdown and put the economy back on track in the way that Boris was hoping we would be able to do, which is, for a lot of people, bad news, right? Because that means that the likelihood of them being able to return to work is still very reduced, and yet the support schemes that were in place get withdrawn, or at least they have to at some point, even if they're extended a bit further. We've already had one extension. It kind of can't go on forever. And we've got this stamp duty holiday in place until the end of March. Will that be extended? Well, maybe, but I think unless we have a genuine vaccine and a cure for this COVID situation, the economic outlook is not good, and the recession will bite, and it will bite harder than ever, which in turn means unemployment levels rise up, people's disposable income comes down, those who need to get their hands on cash may be forced to sell property to realise, to liquidate and to get cash in their account to ride them through the storm. There'll be less buyers in the market, and therefore property prices will come down. And for those that have access to cash, they're able to exploit that opportunity. Exploit being obviously a kind of a harsh word, but it's the world we live in, and with everything in business there are opportunities for those who are able to seize upon them at the right time. And for people who need to sell, actually, if we're able to buy, we're able to solve a problem for them, put money in their account, and they're able to keep supporting their families. So it's just a cycle, and it's the way things work. You add to the fact that in 2008 a lot of cash was pumped into the economy and printed, and that over the last 6 months 3 times as much cash has been printed and pumped into the economy, which in all probability will create an inflationary reaction perhaps 2 or 3 years down the line when things recover. So that if you're able to buy now, probably not now, coming into early next year, at reduced prices, with a struggling economy that, in light of the recent increase in COVID numbers and the slowing down of the economy returning, the opportunities are probably going to be greater. You can buy cheap and then enjoy the benefit, the sort of slingshot effect of the inflationary boom when that time comes. So it continues to be gearing up to be a fantastic opportunity to be buying real estate in 2021, maybe 2022 as well. And in light of recent events, perhaps that's only getting better. Those opportunities are only getting better. So stockpile cash and be ready. And also, if you're planning to sell anything, do it now during this boom. I'm planning to sell a property, maybe two, and that window of opportunity isn't going to last much longer. Sell at the top so that you have cash to play when things start to come down. And on a final thought, I'm meeting with my architect, builder, planning consultant, I think the week after next, to fully wrap my head around all these new permitted development changes in regards to repurposing commercial buildings which are now surplus to requirements in so many cases, particularly in city centres where big employers just they've moved their operations to home working, and I don't think they're in a rush to bring people back. What happens to that space? Well, it's no longer needed as an office, but in this country we have and always have had a shortage of housing. Repurpose it over to residential, and then you have bought something that is not in demand and created something that is, and it's an element of sort of arbitrage in a way, where you're buying something cheap and converting it to something that's desirable. And with all these new changes that have come into effect around permitted development, which I don't fully understand yet, but I'm hoping my planning consultant will, and he can advise me on. If you're able to have a broad understanding of all these different component parts at play at the moment, map them together, not just to see an opportunity in one area, but an enhanced opportunity if you can combine 4 or 5 things that a lot of other people haven't put together and understood yet, then you've got a real edge. And that people will catch on. Maybe it'll take 18 months or 2 years, but it's time to get busy, it's time to get buying, and it's time to make things happen. Slightly longer video today, apologies, but there's a lot to think about. I'd love to hear whether you guys think I'm on the right track, if you're seeing it differently, if there's something that I've missed, let me know, get in touch, comment below, call me, message me, whatever it is that you want to do. This is we're coming into boom time in terms of opportunity, and I think knowledge and clear thinking has never been more important. So I'd very much welcome your opinions on this to try and see it clearly and get it right. Anyway, I wish you all a very, very good weekend and productive week as we roll into it tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.